Hello. Well, here we are live again, Bob's live stream. Thoughts of a crazy Geordie. If anybody wants to join us, maybe we've got something to talk about tonight. Who knows? And if the music's too loud, I'm not sure it is, maybe we'll resolve that. And hopefully we have resolved the problem with the delay on the whole system. But again, we're going to find out tonight whether we have or not. And it's 30 seconds in to the evening. Hopefully get a few people joining. Got one person just come on there. Music's not too loud. Tell me if it is. Put it in the comments box. You know where that is anyway. So, good evening, whoever's on. Oh, we've had a comment. I've just heard it pop up. Let's have a look. See who's on. Murray, music is a good level. Thank you very much, sir. I've worked out how to do it. And can you tell me if we're having a delay? Oh, may still be a delay. Oh, okay. Oh, well, we've tried that, and the music's fine. That's good. That's very good. Well, there you go. We've sorted one issue out, which was, of course, the music. All we've got to sort out now is a delay. But Murray reckons, yes, a slight delay, but not much. Well, it's got to be better than 30 seconds, which it was last week. I believe you can get this down to about 1 or 2 seconds. Well, just depends. New t-shirt today, Broadsword Academy Germany. Hi, Justin. Evening to you, sir. Evening to you. Yeah, Talking Point, Broadsword Academy Germany t-shirt here. Look at it. About a 10-second delay. My mate Hiko, who's my mentor, who teaches me, gives me feedback on my broadsword training, sent me this. So if he's watching tonight in Germany, thank you very much, sir. About a 10-second delay. Oh, okay, I suppose we'll have to cope with that. I have tried everything in my power, which isn't a lot of power, to resolve that. In fact, can I just ask everybody, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? Have a think about that. I know what I would. Yeah, have a think about it. What superpower would you love to have? Anyway, a 10-second delay probably gives you 10 seconds to answer. And if invisibility, Murray says invisibility. I say, Cold War Russia. That's my favourite superpower. You didn't expect that anyway. Invisibility. Yeah, I know what you guys are thinking. I know exactly what you guys are thinking. What do you reckon, Tina? I know you're in there somewhere. You're the third person. Yeah. Cold War Russia. It's the best superpower. Very powerful. Unless they were as powerful as the Russians, who knows? That was supposed to be some sort of gag. And you'll probably gag on it as well. So, start the evening off with some questions. Somebody said this t-shirt is blue, but actually it looks black to me. It's got a very fine logo on the back. And I might as well show it because Hiko will be chuffed if I don't. I'm sure you can see the logo. It's a broadsword and a German flag. Anyway, I'm not German, but hiya, Paul. How we doing there, mate? Paul's on board. That's good. We're starting the night really early with 4. Maybe the publicity works. Maybe contacting people on Facebook works. Who knows? We'll find out tonight. So, anyway, Paul, what superpower would you have? I said Cold War Russia. Everybody else has said invisibility. I can see that, but a 10-second delay. I did actually find some sort of window which allowed me to change the latency, and something seems to have worked. I put it down to ultra low both on YouTube and on Ecamm, which is the platform that I'm currently using, that you can see me on at the moment, through a very, very decent lens on a decent camera. So if you want advice on how to set up your Ecamm live, don't come to me. Go direct to the manufacturer. So I'm not sure whether that's going to resolve the whole 10-second delay thing, but we'll find out, won't we? So what we're going to talk about tonight. Murray said hello to Paul. As per usual, I've been reading lots of books and making lots of notes. I spent a lot of time reading this, Outlines of Pyrrhonism by Sextus Empiricus. Not the best required nighttime reading, but hey, it's a good book. It's a good book by Bury. It's a good translation, and maybe we'll talk about that. Or I was even flicking through my old Unlocking Italian by Paul Noble. That's what got started on my journey. It's the first book I bought to learn Italian, and from there I've just gone on and on and on. When was that written? The Sextus Empiricus book originally, you mean? The 3rd century AD, I think. 500 years after the death of Pyrrho. Because Pyrrho of Elis was about 360 to 270 BCE, and I think Sextus was Roman, and he came around, I think, 200. I don't know, something like 200 AD or BCE. What do they call it now? I don't know. But this is just a direct translation of the work of Sextus Empiricus, because Sextus Empiricus based this, I believe, on the work of Eusebius, and that came from Timon of Athens, who was virtually right next to the period when Pyrrho was alive. In fact, Timon was one of his students. So Timon was one of Pyrrho's students. But yeah. And according to the back of the book, it says Sextus Empiricus stands as an example of the skeptics, with a K. The skeptic school of thought whose members believed that knowledge was either unattainable or, if a genuine possibility, the conditions necessary to achieve it were next to impossible to satisfy. Yeah. I don't think he did. I don't know, Murray. I don't know whether Pyrrho had any influence on Roman culture. I haven't read enough into the life of Sextus Empiricus, so it's maybe something I need to do. Although it's not so much the history that fascinates me, it's the philosophy behind skepticism, and particularly Pyrrhonism, because you've got two schools. You've got Pyrrhonist skeptics, and then you've got the academic skeptics, who still had some belief in, they had belief systems, so they followed dogmas. They believed in truths, and that knowledge was attainable. The Pyrrhonists, Pyrrho didn't think that knowledge was attainable because it's a fluid thing and it will change constantly depending on conditions. He talked about relativity and time and perceptions, quite far ahead of his time. Studied in India quite a lot of the time when he was with Alexander, and I think I've mentioned this many times, that Pyrrho went out to India with Alexander the Great, who swept across Persia and into what is now Afghanistan and created satrapies, small colonies of Greeks, which then affected obviously the culture of India and vice versa. And there are some academics now who are starting to say that Pyrrho may have had an influence, the Greeks may have had an influence on Indian philosophy, and others say that it was the opposite. I don't believe either. I don't know what to believe, so I suspend belief until we have an evident answer, some evidence, in other words. So yeah, and there are several really good books on Pyrrhonism. That one came out a few years ago, but I don't think you'll get it for less than 50 quid now. I was lucky when it first came out. I paid about 10 quid for it. And Adrian Kuzminski is a research scholar in philosophy, and he examined Pyrrhonism in terms of its striking similarity to Eastern non-dogmatic soteriological systems such as Buddhism. And because, as we say, Pyrrhonists suspend judgment on beliefs, about all beliefs, in fact. But you've got to be careful what you mean by belief, obviously. So I have no idea whether Pyrrho had any influence on Roman culture He might have done, but it probably would have been crushed or certainly hidden by the onslaught of Christianity over the Greeks when the Romans took charge, basically, when the Romans turned to Christianity. Yes, it's a shame that the Romans went with a more dogmatic cult, absolutely. And, well, that's the way of the world, isn't it? And dogma continues to flourish because people have a fixed sense of self. They believe that if they have no beliefs, then they will vanish. When in fact the self is a fluid thing anyway, if you can call it a thing. Can you call it a thing? An aspect of your personality. So maybe we should go into that a little bit as the evening wears on, and we've now got 7 people. Hiya, Kay. Hi, all. Hi, Pyrrho. Yes, hi, Pyrrho. How long have you been on, Kay? I've just seen your thing come up now. And is this delay still 10 seconds? That's what I want to know. So set your stopwatches now. Yeah, there is another fascinating book. And again, these things are all getting really expensive now. And that's, I think I've shown this one before, Greek Buddha. And this was by Beckwith, Christopher Beckwith, demonstrating his indebtedness of the European culture to the interactions that occurred between the ancient people of Europe and the, I suppose you could call it the Gangetic Basin of India at the time. He posted it 2011. So if you posted 2011 and it's now 2012. Right, okay, well I didn't put my timer on, so. So yeah, this is a really important work, I think, and I read it, I think I got it a couple of years ago, yeah, 2017. And I'm talking about non-rectilinear logic and Pyrrhonism and early Buddhism, as opposed to the fairly modern, what's called normative Buddhism. That's a good book. As is that one. And actually, so's that one. Somebody must have that. The Cloud Spotter's Guide. Yes. For all free thinkers. A great little book came out, oh God, a few years now. For anybody who's interested in meteorology and clouds specifically. 2006 when I bought that. So that's an old book. And I don't know what it's doing over there. I think I got it out to balance my laptop on it. And I picked up 101 Conversations in Simple Italian. How about that? It's a story. Yes, very good. Mistero a Roma. A Roman mystery. Talking of Roms. So, we might still have a bit of a delay on this, but I don't think it's any more than 10 seconds. So, Italian is great. I agree. Absolutely. Absolutamente. Right? Yeah. It is good. I like it. It's quite a beautiful language. I'd also like to learn Greek. I did learn the Greek alphabet when I was younger for astronomy because they use the Greek alphabet. I think I mentioned that in a blog post, so you guys have probably heard me go on and on and on and on about the Greek alphabet. Of course, the Thai alphabet, a little bit more complex, 44 consonants and 22 vowels, I believe, all written in a different type of script rather than, it's not Romanized, there's no letters as such, they're sounds, because Thai is a tonal language. And I learned to write it because I'm on the spectrum, I guess. We've got 8 on already and it's only 14 minutes in. So twice as many as this time last week, which has got to be a good thing. So guys, anything you want to talk about? It is the Thoughts of Geordie Bob, for what that's worth. And Kay, have you seen my new Broadsword Academy Germany t-shirt? You'll love it. Last one. Hiko had it and he had a few left. So I got it. Because I'm Nabila. How many swords do you have? 12. I might have more actually. there's 5 tones. This is for Tina, who's just pinged me on my phone and said how many tones are there. There's 5 tones in Thai, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12. Still 12, unless you count the kukris. Hiya, Charles. Good to have you on board. So 12 swords, yeah. And there is an online swords auction today. What? Oh, you have to tell me where that is, Kay. An online auction. Is that for the 1796 Dutch sabre? Because I think it's going for something like $690, but I think that's in Colorado. So I'm not sure whether I would trust to have something posted from there. And of course, I don't have $690. But if you would like to fund me for my next sword purchase, you could all club together and get an old man, a 1796 Dutch sabre. I think. Well, it's not a sabre actually. It's a light cavalry sword. So not a sabre. Sabre's a different thing. Of which I have 2 over there, an English sabre and a Polish sabre, both of which are very beautiful, and 3 basket-held swords over there. Yeah. So tell me, Kay. Where's this online auction, mate? And the swords are probably in the range of about £1,000 to £2,000 or euros, I would have thought. That usually seems to be the going rate for a decent sword. Although I did get a deal on mine, so that was good many miles ago. It had a broadsword like the one behind you for a similar amount. They had some nice cheaper cavalry sabres too, French and some American. Oh, okay. They had a broadsword like that. This one. Because this is quite a nice broadsword. As you can see, it's got on the pommel, it's got the it's a bit tatty like inside, but like it's cloth and leather. It's that's just a cover, and that's the obviously it's got a metal scabbard. So yeah, I'll just put that back there. And it doesn't fall, but it is made of metal, so it's not going to come to any harm. I'm sure it's seen a bit of action. Certainly has in my garden anyway. Although I don't particularly train with that one. I wouldn't like to train with that one. I've got other swords that I like to train with, which are very good. And on another note, for those who are interested in swords, Paul McDonald stopped making them now because he's got a 10-year waiting list. I'm surprised you haven't built a forge in the garden and started making your own. Yeah, that would be good. You've probably got enough kit. In your engineering works, have you got a forge? Or do you just bring castings already in and then machine them? I'm assuming that's what you do. So if you have got a forge, that would be great. Imagine that, Justin. We'd be able to make Thai swords. We'll make some Thai, because they're pretty straightforward, pretty easy, very straightforward to make. And they're not particularly decent in terms of their construction. So they don't need a lot of work on them. Quite primitive steel, really. Unlike the Indian swords, which were made of Damascus steel. Bob the Forger. Yeah. I once forged a note for a friend of mine's brother for school, because I could write like his mother, and because he had some time off school, so I forged a note, and he snitched on me. And I was told I wasn't given the cane. I was about to, but then the teacher said, no, I've got something better. I want you to write a 12-page essay on forging. So I did. I wrote about Japanese swords. Then he gave me the stick. I don't think that's what he wanted me to do. Oh, you'll have to get a forge, Justin. You have to get a forge. Yeah, so I actually forged a letter for one of my mate's brothers, and he snitched on me because the teacher challenged him, and he fell apart. He broke under pressure. The power of interrogation was too great, and he snitched on me, and I got into trouble. And an old mate of mine who's now in the US, Alfie, has reacted to a message I sent him about come on here and talk to me. Well, make comments anyway. It'd be good if we could actually talk, but you'll have to do that on Zoom anyway. So, yeah. 20 minutes in and 9 people on board. Be good to see who those 9 are. Codename Jigsaw. Yeah. I bet you've got a few jigsaws though, haven't you? Of course you'll have some jigsaws. Oh, well, there you go. That's the way it works, isn't it? So, if we have a look on YouTube, we might be able to see who's actually on board here. I wonder. I apologise in advance, your partner Jane, for forwarding this link. Very good. You're going to forward me the link. Good. And it's Jane with a Y actually. So, but that doesn't matter. So what have we got planned this week? Right, Bob, what have you got planned this week? Tomorrow morning, I'm working on an exam station for Wolverhampton University OSCEs for PA students, doing role play. I can't talk about the role plays, obviously, because that's confidential and it's a national exam. Just so you know, all you need to know is I've got 6 scenarios to do with all different types, which is a bit of a nightmare and quite a bit of pressure to get that right. So I'm doing that in the morning. In the afternoon, I'm teaching NLP to a friend of mine, Wen Hubble. Don't know whether he's going to come on tonight. And I'll be teaching NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, online. And then in the evening, we've got Thai boxing at 6 o'clock. And then I'm doing a podcast with a guy called Tommy Joe Moore, who teaches Bartitsu. Okay? And Bartitsu is an old Victorian fighting art, like boxing and Ken. It's like self-defense, but Victorian style. And Tommy used to be a student of mine through Ben Bates, who Justin will remember. Used to train with Ben Bates and Eddie Quinn. Of course, Justin will remember these names, being chief instructor for Wales. And of course, on Saturday, I'll be interviewing Justin for the podcast. So if you know anybody who wants to listen to the podcast, just share them. Because so far, I've had some really good feedback. We've had Thai boxers, Dorman. We've had Craig Galvin, who's been on here before, he's a hypnotherapist, essentially, who's very big into NLP and communication. And also has been practicing techniques of memory retention. And he's been memorizing 2 packs of cards and things like that. Yeah, blast from the past. So, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so Ben Bates, you remember Ben, he used to have quite a lot of fighters on the circuit. He trained under me. He used to train down the studio. He would definitely remember you. Well, one of his students, Tommy Joe Moore, check him out on Facebook, guys, and go and have a look. The book that he's written looks really good. Anyway, I'm going to be doing a podcast with him tomorrow evening at 7:30, and I'll get that up it'll be online on the podcast, on Podbean, it'll be Tuesday. It'll be on Tuesday. This Friday, it'll be Graham Leggett, who teaches martial arts up in Ayr. He's a chief instructor for Scotland for the Pride Pichai camp, but he's also a martial arts whiz kid in his own right, as well as having worked the doors for 20 years in Ayr, which is quite a rough town. But he had some interesting things to say about door work, self-protection, and a lot of things. He's got lots of things. He's got a full-time gym in Ayr, and he's a good guy. And once you get past the accent, which some of you struggling Southerners will have a problem with, he's got a lot to say. So give it a listen when it comes out. You guys know we've got the podcast is on YouTube as well as on Podbean. So just check those out. It's audio on Podbean, and obviously it's a video podcast on YouTube. So please go on, subscribe to the channel. It's called the Higher Way podcast. So not the Higher Way code, just the Higher Way podcast. Okay, let's get yourself on that. When is that coming out again? That'll be every Tuesday and every Friday. There'll be a new podcast. I've got I've got a list in front of me, about 25 people. I've already done Ian from the United States, Gavin from Ballartown, Scotland, who's a Kiwi, and Craig, who's from Coventry, which is fairly local. But if you guys know anybody who'd be interested in coming on the podcast and doing an interview with me, that'd be great. Charles, I'm looking at you. You've got some interesting things to say. And if you want to come on and do a podcast, I would appreciate it. We've got Kay as well. I did a podcast with Kay last week, talking about fleas in space and Thai boxing and McBain and all sorts of things. So that is really interesting, because Kay was a slightly older gentleman when he started Muay Thai, but still fought, which is great. Good. Well, Charles, you know how terrible I am, so text me and we'll book a time. Send me some dates when you're available to do a podcast with me. And I want to talk about you and your experiences, not just Thai boxing, but your experiences with being at Birmingham University, and anything, any struggles or any positive and negative stuff, really. Good stuff and the bad stuff about being a working class student in Birmingham. Yeah. Same as me, really. Yeah, skint. Yeah, Kay said the podcast was great. We could have talked a few hours more. Well, that's what we're going to do. That's exactly what we're going to do, Kay. We're going to go on and do another one. And I think that's going to be the case with quite a few people, because I know the guys I've had on, we could have talked for like 5 hours quite easily. And I do very little talking, unlike on here, because I have to keep busy, obviously, because you don't want dead air, because I'll just be stupid and it'd be unprofessional. So obviously when we're doing a podcast, I'm just going to ask a few questions and off we go. It's really good. I've enjoyed doing them, actually. And we've been reminiscing about some of the olden days, not just martial arts, but about lots of things. So there's quite a few people I've got lined up for it. So Rick Dubbydat was on as well. I found out quite a few things about Rick that I didn't know, and that was interesting. That's going to take more than just one podcast. He was talking a lot about bullying and how he teaches kids how to deal with bullying. And it's quite interesting, because each month in his kids class he has a theme. So he has things like confidence, motivation, and stuff like that every month, which is a theme that they explore to help the kids. But he's decided to change that and make it more contemporary, in the sense he was saying that now, rather than having a theme, he's going to see what the topic is that month. So like some months is mental health, other times, I don't know, it might be Black Lives Matter was an example. So each month he's going to pick a topic from the media, as it were, and they're going to explore it with the kids, which I think is a great idea. So the kids sort of develop an interest, I guess, in affairs, current affairs. Just as long as they don't have dogmas, is what I said to them, I believe. But that was a really interesting podcast. But they all are, to be fair. And I'm looking forward to doing them. I mean, I would do them every day. And in fact, some days, Sunday I had 4 booked, one after another. So, yeah, really, really good. So, have we got any questions, guys? I like Justin's comment. Oh, yeah. Hopefully get Robert Plant to do a podcast one day. That would be fantastic. I know quite a few people in the music industry through friends of mine who used to train with me. And I've met so many different, like Robert Plant's a big musician, yeah, a big name. Tony Iommi, guitarist with Black Sabbath. Steve Winwood, incredible guitarist. Trevor Burton, amazing bluesman. Tony Kelsey, who's a friend of mine, has played and sings with all of these people and has for years. And Tony Kelsey actually appears in my book, Ultimate Muay Thai. What does Prior Pichai stand for? Nabila says, what does Prior Pichai stand for, please? Good question. Okay, so Prior Pichai means the elder brother of the town of Pichai. Okay, and Prior Pichai was a warrior. He was a guerrilla fighter in the 1700s. He's a real historical person who fought alongside King Taksin against the invading Burmese back in the 1700s in Thailand. And the Thais fought against all the odds. Twice as many Burmese as there were Thais fought against the Burmese to gain their independence. And there was one particular guerrilla fighter who became known as Prior Pichai, who was called Tongdi Phan Kao. Now, Tongdi Phan Kao was a great little boxer, but he was also known for his ability with swords. And he rose to quite a height of seniority within the Thai army. And in one of the battles, this Thai called Tongdi Phan Kao drove the Burmese out of a part of Thailand in the north near Uttaradit called Pichai, quite a big town, and it was of strategic importance. So he was given the name Prior Pichai Dab Hak. The Dab Hak stands for broken sword. A dab is a sword, hak is to break. So the full name of Prior Pichai is Prior Pichai Dab Hak, the elder brother of the town of Pichai with the broken swords. And my camp is named after him. And that's a name I was given many years ago to use for the camp. And that's why we called the Prior Pichai camp. And we've been around a long time in the UK, since 79. When we helped establish the British Thai Boxing Council in the UK, up in Lancashire, in Preston. And it's gone on from there. There was quite a few of us. There was John Ryan was the big name that people remember, and Steve Scott. And myself, I moved to the Midlands, obviously. And I continued to set up a camp, Prior Pichai, in Birmingham at the university in 1984. John went and did different things. He moved to the US, no longer has any, I'm sure he has an interest in Muay Thai, but he has no involvement in it. So eventually I became the chief instructor under the British Thai Boxing Council of the camp, the Prior Pichai. I was for many years, as Justin will tell you, a senior instructor within the organisation, the British Thai Boxing Council. When John sort of relinquished control, I guess, of the whole Prior Pichai, because he, it was in Preston where we set it up originally. He handed it over to me, I guess, in a sense. And so Tony Moore, who was the chairman of the British Thai Boxing Council at the time, gave me a chief instructor qualification. That's whatever that means. And I've been doing it all my life, haven't I? Well, most of my life anyway. So yeah. So hopefully that's answered your question. You can look him up, Prior Pichai, online, and you'll see the story of his life. Fascinating guy. He became, after the war and after independence, he became the bodyguard to King Taksin. Now, obviously, King Taksin was an older fella, and when King Taksin died, it's normally the tradition that the bodyguard becomes the new king's bodyguard. But Prior Pichai said he could only be bodyguard to King Taksin, so had himself executed on his own orders. So he signed the orders to have himself executed. So he could not be the bodyguard to anybody else. Strange character. And execution in Thailand at that time was for members of nobility, of royalty, of which Prior Pichai became, was to be put inside a velvet sack and beaten to death with saffron sticks. yeah, not the best way to go. Not like just having your head chopped off or a firing squad or anything instant or, you know, that sort of thing. No, beaten to death with sticks. Not the best way to go, I would have thought. I think it might smart a bit. So he was obviously pretty tough. And if you look in my gym, you will see a huge statue of Prior Pichai. And in fact, I have the image that you have on your t-shirts and everything has the image of Prior Pichai on. And that was obviously a well, I haven't got one at hand, sorry. But that's the image of the man with the swords. And I've got the statue of him in the gym. So next time you're in the gym, Nabila, which shouldn't be too long away because we're opening the gym in a very small way on the 27th. That's the idea. So people have to book ahead and we can only do 5 people at a time. So they're going to be small classes, highly restricted, no pad work, only bag work on individual bags that we have to clean afterwards. It's going to be a nightmare. In some ways, I'm thinking maybe we shouldn't even open the gym. You know, I'm erring on the side of caution. So, yep, that was a very sad ending to the life of Prior Pichai. I think he was only 49 or 47 when he died. And I've been to the town of Pichai, and there's a big statue of him there. And in the provincial town of Ayutthaya, not Ayutthaya, Uttaradet, up in the north, a place called Uttaradet. There's huge statues of him everywhere in the north, because he was a northern character. And so am I. Ha ha. So, you know, this is why I should be thinking of Prior Pichai. I actually have a good luck charm that was given to me many years ago by the mayor of Uttaradet. And it is, in fact, now I don't know whether we can see that. Probably not. Let's see if the camera there. That's Prior Pichai. And that was a charm that I was given to honour my being in the town of Pichai, because he thought it'd be good luck. And on the back, they have, that's the charm there, you see, the little inscription on the back, which is to give me good luck. The Thais love these things. They're very, very superstitious. And they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes and forms. I mean, that's a typical, and all Thai men wear these. That's a little Buddha. It's made out of clay. And it will have some sort of inscription on the back, which you can't see because the camera. And there's, you've got your standard ones, like these are the very fancy ones, like this. This is one that, and I've got these over the years in Thailand. That's one in a little glass case, a little Buddha. It's gone all green now because it's very old. And outside of the case, they sort of look like that. And it will focus in a moment. Eventually. Will it focus? I don't know. Maybe I'm just wasting my time. No, it hasn't focused, but never mind. So the little clay votives like that, there it is, there you go. Okay, and on the back it'll have a little inscription, which you can't see, of course. You can't, it's there, but you can't see it. So yeah, all sorts of little charms and things like that that I picked up over the years in Thailand, lots of them. As I say, the Thais are very superstitious. They have tattoos. You'll see some of the guys in the gym have got a sakyan on their back where the monks have tattooed it when they've been to Thailand. You know, it's one of them things. I personally have no superstitious beliefs at all. Oh, and this is a very nice one. Is my teacher, Pyrrho, who now is long gone, bought me that in a charm market. Really nice charm. You probably can't see it because we're not like that anyway. The Thais are very charming, yes, yes. And very superstitious, Kate. Very superstitious. And I've got a lot to say about that, but I won't say anything. Let them get on with it. That's what I say. So, yes, 40 minutes have gone, and we're down to 7 people. So obviously, people must have been getting a bit bored with the old stuff on charms. I remember last week we had people coming on in the last 10 minutes or something, which is very strange, but nevertheless quite nice. So yeah, so looking through the comments, yeah, I'll hopefully get Robbie Plant on. That would be really good. Last time I saw him was in Monmouth at a gig. Of course, nobody does gigs anymore, but they were going to have a world tour, but that was cancelled, which is a shame. So, 40 minutes in, and any more questions, guys? That's all I could say. Okay. So, what are you lot up to this week? That's what I want to know. What's going to be happening in the next few weeks? Okay, Murray said, what's going to be happening in the next few weeks? Well, there's a meditation seminar, which is on the 26th on a Sunday, which is only a couple of weeks away now. That's an all-afternoon job. So if you know anybody who's interested in meditation, or if you've done meditation and you want to spend a whole day talking about it and practicing meditation, and listening to me prattle on about how to go beyond beliefs, join in. Why not? Help pay my bills, and maybe you'll get enlightened. For the paltry sum of £20. Although, if you introduce somebody, bring a friend, you'll get it for a tenner. Bring a friend and only pay a tenner. So that's a bargain. The gym is supposed to open up on the 27th, which is the Monday. I will be posting stuff about that on Facebook. There will be some new blog posts going out on 50 Shades of Zen and on the HIGHERWAY Code blog. Hopefully, and I've been saying this a while, hopefully the website will be up and running. I'm doing payments for training now with your card, so I've got a card reader. I only hope this is all going to be worth it, because this is dragging on a long time, and I'd like to sort of get things back on track. Although I have enjoyed this period of time, it's given me loads of time to read, to learn a lot of new stuff. So yeah, the next few weeks it's all crazy, and yeah, that's just the way it is. Okay, Justin, the Thais are the friendliest people he's ever met, but you don't like being laughed at or disrespected one bit. No, absolutely true. Don't laugh at them. In fact, if you make a friend of a Thai, I mean, it sounds like a bit of a stereotype, doesn't it? A bit of a cliche. If you make a friend of a Thai, you've got a friend for life. But I think that's true of anybody, despite the nationality. But yeah, I mean, I always had a great time there. I mean, always. Never had a bad time in Thailand. Albeit I've never been on holiday there, so I don't know what it's like to go on holiday. And I've never stayed in a hotel. I've stayed in a guest house, and I've stayed in gyms. So that's the sum total of my experience of holidaying in Thailand. No idea what that is. So I think the last holiday I had might have been in Spain, in a villa, I think. Or maybe it was in Cornwall, in a farmhouse or something. Other than that, I've slept on the canvas and slept in hammocks, which is always good. Probably why my hips are knackered now. And talking of which, I was in Chester on Monday night. That was interesting. Nearly got killed on the way there. A car pulled into the side of me and my mate and drove us onto the grass verge on the other side of the road. Luckily, we were in a Land Rover, so that was fine. And I think the guy just didn't look, and he apologised, and no harm was done. Luckily, we're in a Land Rover. I think if we'd been in a car, it might have been a different story, because the grass verge was quite wet on the opposite side of the road. So don't overtake on country lanes, even when you've got loads of space, especially when people decide they're going to pull out in front of you. Marvellous. So we've got 15 minutes left, guys. If there's anything else anybody wants to say, we're back up to 9 again, so people keep dropping out and coming back in. It'd be good to get a couple of questions before we finish off. And just as a recap, tomorrow evening is Thai boxing at 6 o'clock, and Monday Thai boxing as always. Monday and Thursday 6 o'clock Muay Thai. Tuesday night meditation. It was hilarious last night. I think Murray was there, Kay was there, and it was hilarious. After you left, Tina, you missed a great night. It went all a bit crazy. It really did. But I managed to keep it on track. Yeah. I wish I'd recorded it for posterity, if nothing else. It was a hilarious evening. Oh, and this is probably Charles. Oh, I'm busy Friday, but I'm free tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday if you want to do the podcast. Right, I'll get back to you, Charles, on that one. I think maybe the Saturday would be good, because Saturday I'm with Justin at 12 o'clock. Am I right? Let me have a look. Is this professional doing this online? Yeah, Justin is 12 till 1. So why don't we say 1:30, Charles? We're going to do your podcast at 1:30 on Saturday. How about that, mate? Give me a thumbs up if that's the case. That'd be great. Oh, and Charles has come back to me. Yes, 1:30 is good. So that's a date, right? So Pete's exploits were memorable. Yeah, we came up with a lot of new ideas as well for podcasts. I did make a list of them. I think I said it all started with me saying putting the sus back in Jesus, or the piss back in Episcopalian, or the P back in Pyrrho. I can't remember, but it did turn into a bit of a disaster. So more podcasts on the way, guys. It's looking good. Getting all these people on board and listening to their interesting lifestyles. And now there's a ping on my phone. Who was that then? Let's have a look. I heard it went bell-shaped. Lol. Yeah, it went bell-shaped, all right. It was more like, well, banana-shaped. I was going to say pear-shaped, but that would have made no sense at all. And I believe Kaleem was supposed to be on tonight, an old mate of mine. I don't know whether you're there, Kaleem. If you are there, why don't you pop on in the comments and go, hello. Kaleem's an old student of mine from many, many years ago. God knows how long ago. I met him on a self-protection course up in Nuneaton, I think. Wasn't it, Kaleem? And I've kept in touch with you over LinkedIn and things over the years. Okay, Justin. Yeah, I gotta go. I'll see you on Saturday, mate. I'll send you, unless I already have done, I'll send you the link. In fact, send me your email address just in case I haven't sent it, because I couldn't remember. I know I've sent some links out to people. Okay, Justin, you take care, mate, and Swally cap. Okay, right. I'm wondering who else is on. I know Graham was going to come on. Graham Leggett said he might pop on, and Ian might come on from the US, but we don't know. Let's see who comes on. We've got 10 minutes left. Like I say, last week it was a bit bizarre. We were literally wrapping things up, and we ended up about 3 or 4 new people coming on. So maybe the same thing is going to happen again. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? It's all grist for the mill, as Ram Dass said. Who's Ram Dass? Ooh, Stephen Levine, I think, was his English name. Yeah. Dead now. Oh. Stuart's finally come on. Hello, Stuart. Just remembered it. I've been posting it all day. And maybe this is the problem. People don't check emails or messages or whatever. I thought the younger generation did that, but evidently not, because more and more people tell me that they don't check these things. Very odd. I don't know how people can run a business, to be honest, without it. Memory of a goldfish. Yeah, and I'm doing a podcast on you, Stuart. I need to know when. I think you had to change the date we had, but for some reason I lost your message somewhere. amongst all of these different messages that I constantly get. So tell me when we're supposed to be on, because you were supposed to be booked to do a podcast on Monday at 2 o'clock. And that's not a problem if you can't make it, because I'm also doing Nigel in the morning at 11 till 12. So let me know, mate, let me know. I can do the weekend good. So, I hope your business is doing well, Stuart. And Stuart is physical and mental strength. Okay, so if you want to check out his YouTube channel and subscribe to it, that'd help him. And his Twitter feed, I suppose, his Instagram and blah blah and all the other social media that we're all involved in it somewhere or another. A little later in the day, right? So later in the day could be 4 o'clock, Stuart. Yeah, right, okay. That's my son, so that has nothing to do with this. That's all personal stuff. Your beard is beautiful. Oh, thank you very much. Doesn't take long to grow, does it? Yeah, needs tidying up a bit, but maybe a trim. Look at Murray, Ram Dasbone, Richard Alpert. Why did I think Stephen Levine? It was Richard Alpert. April 6, 31 to 2019, also known as Baba Ramdas, was an American spiritual teacher, psychologist and author. You missed the old one. Oh yeah, so do I. The old one. That was quite good. I could easily make one of them. I just shave this bit out. If I get rid of that, that's what I had before. So there you go. That's what I had before. Like that. Ramdas, an interesting character. I've got a couple. Obviously, I've got a couple of his books. I've got Grist for the Mill, and I've got I've got this one. Look at that. Be Here Now. Incredibly odd book, proper hippie book from. Look at it. Look at it. Bizarre old yellow thing that I've got, full of all sorts of bizarre things. And smells marvellous. I bought this in 1975, 76 maybe. I went up to Newcastle and spent a lot of money on books. I was actually saving money up to buy a huge Buddha statue that I'd seen in an antique shop. And then I spent it all on books because I thought, well, knowledge, the books, the stuff in the books might be more useful. And I think I might have been right. I'm not sure. Yep, a classic book. Absolute classic. So we've got about 8 minutes left, unless people start coming on. I don't know what you lot are having for your supper, your dinner, as we call it. I'm going to have an omelette, huge omelette, mushrooms and cheese in. That's what I decided. So, Ramdas, Be Here Now, a classic book of the period, along with other books like I had a wooden book on meditation. Cranberry juice for dinner. Nabila, that's not going to... just cranberry juice. Okay. So Nabila has cranberry juice. Oh, Kaleem, you're on, mate. I've just seen you. Sorry, mate. Any more interviews from the karate master that you... Yeah, there is. I'm going to do another one on Ian McCraner. Did you like that, Kaleem? Yeah, I hope you liked it. So Ian McCraner, if you don't know, was an old pal of mine from many years ago. Met him at the Temple Karate Club in Birmingham in probably 1984. And the Temple Karate Club in Birmingham was the centre for martial arts in Birmingham at the time. It was a damp, dirty, smelly old dojo underground. But some of the greatest karate men of that era, Takamazawa was there, Japanese karate master. I hate to use the word master, but he was a teacher, a sensei. And I met Ian there, and I remember me and Ian did motion capture together as well. And motion capture was a pretty new thing at the time. And Ian didn't do any more after that, but I went on to do motion capture for year after year after year, probably, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 years maybe, in lots of different games. We used to go down to Oxford and down to London. I think it was Probe, but they don't exist anymore. But Audio Motion still exist, and in fact they're bigger. And up until recently I was doing quite a bit of work for Centroid. who make a lot of games. So I used to do the motion capture, and now I'm more of an advisor. If people get me in at all, it's just in an advisory capacity because of my core morbidities, me problems, me pathologies, I should say, not me core morbidities. So 5 minutes ago, so sorry about that, Clem. I didn't realise you'd popped on there. It slides past the screen very quickly. So I hope you guys are enjoying the evening, and will continue to listen as the weeks go by. I don't know how it's going to work when everything's back to normal. I will keep these going. It's in some form or another, and it would be good, actually. It would be very good to be able to keep on top of it all. As I say, I don't think the gym's going to be back to normal for a long time. Probably not till November, December, maybe. But we'll see. We'll see. See how it pans out. So any of you guys who are in Birmingham and you want to train with me, you need to book in. But it's going to be clear. I'm going to send emails out, messages, Facebook posts and so on. And I'm following some quite strict guidelines. So, and the prices had to go up to £7, I'm afraid. And payment by card, contactless. So we have as minimum contact as possible. Oh, unless it's all a conspiracy. Then it isn't everything. Yeah, so thanks for coming on, guys. I think people are sort of dropping off now. Stuart's gone probably to make dinner. Nabila has gone to get some cranberry juice. Murray's going to still be there because that's what he does. And Kay will probably still be there. And I'm going to do a second podcast with Kay at some point as well as a follow-up. So we need to do that. So guys, three minutes to go. And I'm just wondering if there's any other questions. Yeah. So Kay's just said thanks. Stu, take care of your ankle. Yeah. How is that ankle? Is it getting any better? Why not let us know in the comments box in glowing detail and send your MRI to me and we'll have a look at it and discuss it online. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a long day, and tomorrow is going to be even longer. I've got a lot planned tomorrow. Oskies in the morning, podcasts in the afternoon. Yeah, in the evening, is it? I can't remember what I'm doing now. Completely confused. So the next podcast will be Graham Leggett, I think, or Kay. I'm not sure which one. But obviously Kay needs to give me the okay about his material that was on there. I think he said it was going to be, he'd let me do it anyway. So, yeah, so podcasts are going to come thick and fast, but obviously I've got to drip feed them onto the system. Otherwise, I'll run out of people to have podcasts about. And we need to sort of do them regularly. I've got enough for like 6 months, I think, now. If that's one a week, anyway. Oh, yeah, you give the okay. It was great. Yeah. So it's going to be Kay. So Kay will be on Friday. Kay Van Dam. That should be good. So look out. It'll be on YouTube and on Podbean. The Higher Way. And here's my dog. My dog's just walked in. You probably heard him scratching in the background, shaking his head and giving himself a good scratch because he wants his collar taking off. Paul, I just remembered one subject I haven't talked about before, and that's writing. Yeah. Well, yeah. I wish I'd got that question at the beginning. What you mean? Talk about the process of writing? Because I love writing. I don't think I'm particularly brilliant at it, but I can churn it out if I need to. Yeah, I've still got your shorts, Stu. They're in the cupboard here. You can pick them up at my house anytime you want, mate, if you can get down to mine. I'll give you the address at some point. Writing. Yeah, I'd like how I approach writing. Oh, like I approach everything. How do I approach writing? Okay, I just do it. I just get on with it. I start writing. I have some vague idea in my head what I'm going to do, and then I write it. Like the book I wrote, I'll just quickly cover that, Paul, but the book I wrote called Amok, which still isn't finished, it just came with a germ of an idea about violence, actually. And it's like when I write the blog posts, they just come out of conversations like this. I'll write the idea down, make a note of it, and then sit down and write about it. I mean, there's no method as such, so I don't have any habits or plans. I make a resolve to just do it, and then I get on with it. Murray will sort of see, he can tell you how I work. We come up with an idea, he says write it, I go off, write it, he checks it for punctuation, and because obviously it's a one-off, it's a straight off the laptop, as it were, with very little interface from me going back to it or reviewing it. And if I get time, I'll review it. But I used to write for Combat magazine in the same way. I'd get a deadline, and then an hour before the deadline, I'd write it, and then we'd have it up in the magazine the next week. So that's my approach. It's, you know, I've got friends who are famous writers, Mark Bellingham, and he has a completely different approach to it. I think he writes first thing in the morning, every morning for 3-4 hours, and then he finishes his book, and he's very successful. One of the top crime writers in the country. I went to university with him. So that's my approach. I think it's a good topic to bring up, actually, Paul, at the next podcast, because we've just gone over the hour now. We've still got people on. But yeah. So, Stuart, I've got your shorts. Yes, you can have them. Podcasts are posted every Tuesday and Friday. We'll talk about my approach to writing, which I've more or less talked about now. But if we want to go into more detail, we can. But I don't think there is a lot. I mean, I've read a lot of books. I think that if you read a lot, then that makes you a good writer. Particularly if you read good writers like Hunter S. Thompson, Jack Kerouac, Pirsig. Who's Pirsig? Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. A great book. Very little to do with Zen, very little to do with motorcycle maintenance. Everything to do with the Greeks, believe it or not. But you need to read it. It's a hell of a book. So I read Stephen King on writing. That's a great book. I don't think I used any of his ideas, but it sort of makes you think about writing. It makes you think, oh, I should write. So it's good from an inspirational point of view. So we'll save that till next week. So if there's nobody else coming on, which it certainly looks like there isn't, just like to sort of sign off really and say thank you very much for coming on. Yep, Paul says he's got the Stephen King one. It is good. I say a good night to you all. And you may have noticed I managed to work out how to get the music. And I can actually turn it up as and when I want. So on that note, guys, I'd like to just say good night, and if I don't see you this week, I'll see you next week. Okay, guys. Yeah.